Hello Virgo, and welcome back to TenPaths Tarot. Let's just dive right in. The oracle card today is honoring the past. And here we have someone who is in the unknown. They're in darkness. Something troubling maybe peeking at them from around the corner. I don't know if you can see that little face there. And empty thoughts are escaping. There's a skull and the thoughts are being released. We also have the raven, which is learning from lessons. So in this case, it would be learning from lessons past. And so let's look at how this relates to our reading today. I will be starting with the last card that popped out of the deck, the bottom four cards. Let's take a look at the cards for a moment. This is the whole set for today's reading. And so this is where we're starting at. We're starting with the star. And the star usually represents spiritual guidance through the unknown. These individuals here are depicted as horses. And so Spirit is telling you that there's a lot of emotion here. There's a lot of excitement about moving forward. Do I have the card up too high? Possibly. This is Spirit coming down. And the horses are eager to get going. They want to start their new life. The next card is the Historian. Now this is also in your recent past. He is the King of Scrolls, the King of Thought. And he has been busy recording his experiences and trying to learn from the past, trying to learn from what has gone before, maybe to the point where that's all he can think about because he is, after all, a king. This is followed by the Death card. Now in this deck, Death actually looks quite beautiful, and it does always signify a change, not necessarily an actual death. And you see she's holding a ball of yarn. That blue ball is a ball of yarn. There is more yarn in the basket here, or in the bowl. And so yarns, right away I'm thinking with this Historian card, the stories we tell ourselves. And yarns are usually stories that are not true. So we have maybe went from this, let's start my new life, but first I have to figure out where I've been. And in writing everything out or thinking about it, since it is scrolls, you've come to realize that not everything you have told yourself, not all of the stories have been true. So then what happens? Then we have the moon. And the moon again is guiding us. The light of the moon is guiding us through darkness. Now we feel like we're on an island. This was all of our emotion. The water is all of our emotion, and it surrounded us. And now we want off that island. I don't need to be pure emotion anymore. So let's go to the next. With the moon comes the star. Now we're starting into your current energy. And let's take a moment to look at the four cards in your current energy before we get going. And so we have the star, And there's that emotion. She's pouring it out. She's still on an island per se. She's sitting on a rock in the water, but she's very near to land. And she's become a mermaid, so she has adapted to this emotion. And she is trying to release it. But she's still somewhat tied to it. She is, after all, a mermaid. So she can't leave that emotion behind completely, at least not yet. However, the next card is the Six of Swords, and this indicates that you will make more progress in leaving that emotion behind. Now, the swords are actually thoughts. He's traveling through all that emotion, but these thoughts tied to that emotion have kept him in a state of non-movement. They've kept him on that island. But now those old thoughts are starting to look like relics. They still seem very real. They surround him, but they are planted, and this person is traveling out of this cage of thoughts. So once you do that, where do you go from there? Then we have to build some new emotions, some new thoughts. And here we have the Four of Cups. And often with the Four of Cups, in a lot of decks, that'll be refusing blessings. But in this case, those fairies bringing the extra blessings, they're not pushing this on him. They are allowing him to take time to look into the water and to look at his old emotions and see what has passed, what cups he might want to spill out and empty so he can start afresh. And then the new blessings will come in. So after all of this turmoil, there comes a state of reflection that is different than this island reflection, different than this, I'm still tied to these emotions, and no matter how much I pour out, there's always more. To now, you have traveled beyond these old emotions, but now you're having to replace those thoughts and emotions with something more constructive. Will you be able to do that? Will this whole process be successful? Well, the Three of Cups suggests it will be. 3 can signify instability, and to some degree it is. Here's the rainbow after all of this water of emotion. So there is hope, there's celebration. You will be successful in getting beyond the past. But that will create a new sense of instability once this joyful feeling has passed, because now you will actually progress with your life in a way that is more constructive, but at first that's going to feel very foreign to you. And so then we're back at the Oracle card, and here is that Raven again, learning from past lessons. You've done that. You've done all of this soul searching. You've realized that a lot of the things you told yourself were not true, that you had to move past this and start a new life. And now I'm looking at that person peeking out, and now she looks a little afraid, or not afraid in a way like there's more out there. She looks almost stunned. She went from, there's a figure here that's crying, to one that looks like there's more out there that I can have. Maybe I'll take a peek. And so this is a very hopeful reading, Virgo. You have been doing a lot of personal growth, and that growth will be successful and lead to better things. It is a process, but you are well on your way. You are well on your way. Right now you're at the island. You know that you have to do something. You can't stay in this sad state, in this worried state, or this state where you're telling yourself false stories. And then your current energy is beginning that process of releasing that past and seeing what's useful and what you've learned from it, and then regrowing yourself basically with this Three of Cups. It is like a regrowth with that rainbow there. And the grass has turned green, flowers are blooming here. So there is regrowth. You're starting to restructure your life. And that is all Spirit has for you today, Virgo. I hope this reading was helpful, and I hope to see you again soon.